You're still on the line with the
I
911
was still on
operator.
the line with 911, and my dog was barking. I asked permission to try to quiet the dog or bring her in, and they said, don't go near your doors or windows.
So they wanted you to stay inside.
Wanted me to stay inside.
And after the officers came and checked your house, checked around all the doors and the side and the back, did they let you go outside?
They suggested I not go outside. They suggested I just stay put, go back, try to go to sleep, and mind my own business. I think.
Did they allow you to go out into the back of your residence to quiet your dog?
They asked me to bring the dog in so that they could check the backyard.
And
Because it is a watchdog. It is a watchdog.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
You brought
that.
the dog in?
I brought the dog in.
And then they checked around back?
Then they checked around and back.
Okay. And it was all clear? Everything was okay?
They told me everything was fine.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Cochran.
Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Ms. Tistaert. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I think.
As I understand what you've told us, you never came out of your house that night. From the time you made the call for the animal shelter and then the call after that to 911, you stayed inside
That
the
is
house.
what I recall, yes.
That's good.
Except to go in the back to bring my dog in.
All right. You
In the
went
backyard.
in your backyard.
Yes.
You didn't come out the front, however, though.
Since the officers told me not to, I did not do so.
I understand. And you've lived in this particular house for 51 years?
I'm sorry I didn't hear
Are you tuning me out? Are you, okay, are you only if you do it for both sides, Your Honor. Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Touche.
Great straight line.
Touche, Your Honor, touche. With regard to the events of that evening, let me ask you a few questions, if I might. I believe you indicated that you had called 911 sometime after midnight. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they kept you on the phone for a period of time. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us how long were you on the phone before you ultimately hung the phone up when talking to
No, I
911?
can't tell you because I didn't watch the time, and at this point of time, I can't recall.
All right.
It
So-
would just be guesswork, which would...
We don't want you to guess, so you can't tell us how long it was.
No.
All right. And, but you talked to 911. They gave you permission to go into your backyard at some point, right? To get your dog?
No, 911 did not.
The police officers did that.
Yes.
Okay. So when the police officers came to your door, you hung up the phone at that point from 911?
When they came to the door, what?
When the police officers came to your door, when the two police officers came across the street to your door, did you then hang up the 911 operator?
Probably. It's been a long time, probably.
All right, I understand. Your best recollection, right? And how long had you been doing your bookkeeping that particular evening? Do you know what time you started?
Probably 6 or 7 hours.
6 or 7 hours? So.
Yes, I had a lot to catch up on.
Okay, I understand. Now, what time do you think you started that bookkeeping?
I haven't any idea.
Okay, what time did you finish?
I stopped at just about 12 o'clock.
All right. So if you stopped about 12 o'clock and you did it for 6
Right.
or 7 hours, you may have started as early as 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Is that right?
Maybe it's possible I started at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's no telling. I sometimes work 12 hours or 14 hours a day, sometimes, with book work like that.
I understand. And have you ever heard the 911 tape when you were speaking to
No.
You've not heard that tape?
No, that's what I said. I'd like to hear it.
Okay. Does Mr. Clark have that tape?
No.
Okay.
Am I testifying now?
No, I wasn't asking you. I was asking her. Do you know if Ms. Clark has that tape?
Pardon?
Do you know whether or not Ms. Clark has that 911 tape?
No.
All right. Now, before you called 911, you had called West Los Angeles Police Department,
Correct,
and they had asked you to call Animal Control.
correct.
And do you know when that was, approximately?
No, I don't know exactly.
You can't give us a time on that either.
Not really, no,
You were just working inside and not paying attention to the time, right?
more or less, yes.
All right. Were you wearing a watch that night?
Pardon?
Were you wearing a watch that night?
Probably, but I might not have been looking at it too often. And now after all this time, there's things I can't recall.
I understand. I understand. Well, thank you very much. Been helpful. I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cochran. Ms. Clark, do you have any further questions? All right. Ms. Tistaert,
Yes,
I'm going to excuse you for the afternoon. Thank you very much for coming in. Please
Okay.
don't discuss your testimony with anybody else except for the lawyers on the case till the matter's over, okay?
all right.
All right, thank you very much for coming in. Ms. Clark, would you like to assist Ms. Tistaert? All right. All right, Ms. Clark, is your next witness the first officer?
Yes, Your Honor. I anticipate his testimony will not be brief.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you recall, Wednesday afternoon is one of our short afternoons for visit purposes. Also, I'd like you to know that I have been making arrangements for us to go out to the Bundy address and to the Rockingham address in the next, perhaps next 2 weeks, sometime in the next 2 weeks, for you to actually see the locations that we've been talking about. And just to let you know that we will be having a court session out in the field, so to speak. And that'll be coming up in the next, perhaps, week to 2 weeks. All right? All right, counsel, rather than start the new witness now with only 7 minutes to go, I'm going to take our recess at this time. I'm going to ask counsel to stay, though, because there are a couple of things we need to put on the record after we excuse the jury. All right, we'll stand in recess then until tomorrow morning, as far as the jury is concerned, until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Before they were brought in, I have not been out in the hallway recently. Ms. Hazlett, I have a note here indicating that apparently there are 2 television monitors out in the hallway right now.
There's one that I know of. It's a monitor that the operator of the remote still camera uses for to take shots inside the building.
Or is that visible to individuals out in the hallway?
It's covered with newspapers on all sides and it's facing the wall. So it's not visible unless somebody gets around behind it, beside the operator, which the operator's been very diligent to keep people away from it.
All right, was that the condition this morning?
Yes.
Are you aware of any other monitor that might be out there?
I'm not aware of it. I'll be glad to check.
All right. Let me ask if counsel is aware of any monitors, any other monitors other than the remote still camera.
No, we are not. We got one right outside. I think the jury had stopped.
All right, because the note is pretty specific that there were 2 TV monitors, however, without sound. My first impression is that this is a violation of the court's order, that they're not supposed to be watching any of the testimony. However, I'm not that concerned about it since there was no sound. However, Mr. Cochran correctly observed that we have exhibited exhibits on the television monitor, which would be something that is inappropriate for them to be watching. And apparently they were in the tow of somebody, so I would admonish both sides to make sure that if you have witnesses waiting outside, that they be not allowed to watch any of the monitor coverage outside. That's a clear violation.
We will take care of that. Thank you.
All right, anything else we need to put on the record?
No, we need just to push from in the sidebar, perhaps.
All right.
Thank you.
before we take our recess? See it? All right. Mr. Cochran, anything else we need to put on the record before we take our recess for the afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, there is.
You had your chance. I asked over there.
I know.
All right. What is it?
I'd like to approach
On the record. All right.
Well, actually, we don't have, I don't even know if we need to approach.
All right. Ms. Clark.
But on the record.
All right. On the record. With the court report, please. Well, thank you. We'll stand in recess until 9 o'clock tomorrow.